Anyone who went past the third grade surely must remember the thinkings of the great thinker, Hypotenuse. It was he who said,
Tibi fumus obsidio septem doro.
which roughly translated means everybody can do something. How very true that is. Take Otis Gum of Owl's Eye, Nebraska, for example. He can put 6 flashlights in his mouth at one time. And let us not forget Adler Suggins. Mr. Suggins went over Niagara Falls sitting on a large bagel. No one had ever done that before. Adler Suggins only did it once.
Hey, Bullwinkle, did you read where Adler Suggins went over Niagara Falls on a bagel?
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Didn't think they made those big bagels anymore.
No, I meant it was amazing he went over the falls.
Oh, shucks, that's nothing. Everybody can do something. It's like Hippopotamus said, tubofungus obsidian September daddy-o or something.
Oh, yeah? Well, what can you do?
For one thing, I can remember everything I ever ate.
What did you have for breakfast 2 weeks ago today?
6 pancakes, 4 eggs sunny side up, a slice of ham, 3 hot dogs, a bowl of chili, and a raisin cookie.
Golly, that's amazing.
Just talent, I guess.
Of course, Rocky and Bullwinkle didn't know it then, but the simple fact that Bullwinkle can remember everything he ever eats is about to cause them both big trouble. For at that very moment, in the underground hideout of Boris Badenov...
Boris, are you in that trunk?
Nobody here but us souvenirs.
Stop hiding, Boris. Fearless Leader is calling on radio.
I can't talk to him, Honeybun. Fearless Leader is mad with me because I still didn't get Elliot Ness.
Don't be silly. He can't bite you over radio.
Oh, boy, you don't know Fearless Leader. Hello, handsome Fearless Leader. I like you better than any Fearless Leader in the world. Yes. I mean, I know I bungled last 3 foreign and 3 jobs, but I don't want to be liquidated. You know I can't stand pain. One more assignment. Honeybun Fearless Leader is giving me one more chance.
Good for you, darling.
I have pencil, Fearless Leader. Shoot. I mean, what is assignment? Yes? You got it. And don't worry, Fearless Leader. This time I will not fail. Cross my heart and hope to die. I was afraid you'd say that. Bye-bye, Fearless Leader.
What is new assignment, Boris? Kill moose?
No, steal formula.
What formula?
Who cares? Any formula.
Boris couldn't have picked a better day to look for a formula, for in another part of the city, one Dr. Bermuda Schwartz was testing his new invention for the army.
Now, when I push this plunger, that bridge over there is going to blow up with 1,000,000 pieces.
Very well, Doctor. Let it go.
Right.
Amazing, that bridge blew up without a sound.
I thought you'd notice that.
Congratulations, Doctor. You have invented the first silent explosive.
I call it hush-a-boom. And you've got to admit, it's a little bit different.
Now, it's very difficult to keep a thing like a silent explosive quiet. So when the 3 o'clock paper hit the streets...
X-ray, X-ray, hush-a-boom goes over with bang. Read all about it.
A silent explosive. Oh, how nice.
Well, that does it, Natasha. Professor Bermuda Schwartz is target for tonight.
And the villains skulked off toward the professor's laboratory, little realizing that our heroes were heading toward it from the other direction.
Boris, how you going to steal the formula?
Steal it? He's going to tell it to me.
Tell it to you? Why should he?
Observe, Natasha.
And the wily villain ducked out of sight and reappeared a moment later dressed as an old lady.
Boris, this makes him tell you the formula?
Certainty. What boy would keep a formula from his own mother?
His mother.
Who's there?
Bermuda, baby, it's time.
I know that, but who are you?
Burmy boy, you don't know your own mother?
Mommy! Come in, Mommy! Tell me where you got the mustache.
And Boris entered the house with the gullible professor. An hour later, he emerged smiling triumphantly.
Boris, you got it?
Natch, I got it.
What took you so long?
I had to bake my boy his favorite cake.
You baked a cake?
It's the least a good mommy can do.
Well, see what you can do about that, Mommy.
Sure enough, coming toward them were Rocky and Bullwinkle, who, oddly enough, had no idea at all of what was going on.
What's all about that?
You hear, Boris, they're not even in on the plot.
We don't take chances. Come on, I got idea.
And the 2 villains approached the proprietor of a nearby fruit cart.
Hey, you want to sell me this fruit cart?
Sure, that'll cost you $50,000.
$50,000? You out of your mind?
You got no choice, so you gotta buy it.
We do?
You in a bad trouble. You stole a formula from a Professor Schwartz, and now you gotta hide from a moose and a squirrel.
Hey, how come you know all this?
And what do you think? I don't watch the Bullwinkle show.
Well, I got no choice. I gotta hand it to you.
Okay, let me have it.
Boris, he trusted you.
Yes, apparently he doesn't watch the show regularly.
But I don't understand, darling. How will this keep formula safe?
Watch carefully. I write formula down on inside of banana. Zip up the peel, tear up the paper. Now all we got is banana. Who would suspect it hides formula?
I would.
Oh, you're sneaky, no good, Natasha.
Oh, Boris, you do care, don't you?
Hush, here comes Moose and Squirrel.
And at that moment, fate played her final card. For instead of passing the innocent-looking fruit cart, Bullwinkle stopped and said,
See, I chew like a banana right now. How much are they?
Bananas?
Yeah.
We had no bananas today.
See, that'd make a great song title.
Those are bananas right there.
Yeah, how much?
They're not for sale.
Oh, come on, I'll give you a quarter for one.
No.
50 cents?
Bullwinkle, that's too much.
$1.
Well,
Boris, no!
$2.
Bullwinkle, no.
it's a deal.
Boris, no!
Pay the man the $2, Rock.
and Bullwinkle walked off munching a $2 banana containing $1 million formula.
How does it taste?
Expensive.
Boris, how could you do such a thing?
I didn't want to. He took advantage of my crooked nature.
This will ruin you with fearless leader. What are you going to do, darling?
Moose has ruined Boris, so now Boris will ruin Moose. Any second now, Moose is going to be part of Elm Street.
Bullwinkle's gonna get run over by the steamroller. I gotta save him.
And with that, the plucky squirrel shot into the air like a pullet.
That's Bullet.
That's Bullet. Boris not only missed the moose, but was unable to find the brakes to the steamroller.
You all right, Bullwinkle?
Just fine. What happened?
Somebody tried to run over you with a steamroller.
Oh, a squash and run drive, Ray. Oh, well. Bye now. Thanks again.
Who's that?
This is a manhole, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's a man.
Rocky and Bullwinkle then crossed the street and entered the drugstore where they knew beyond a doubt they could get a soda to calm their nerves. What they didn't know beyond a doubt was that Boris Badenoff and his henchwoman Natasha were under the table.
How about a banana split, Bullwinkle?
No thanks, Rock. I ate a banana a little while ago with H2O, NH3, C2H5, PDQ, U235, and a pinch of salt written on it.
Boris, Moose remembers formula.
And so when Rocky and Bullwinkle left the drugstore, Boris was waiting with a fiendish plan to extract the formula from the innocent moose.
Here comes Moose. Let him have it, Natasha.
Hey, what's the big idea of hitting me with a pie?
Say, you sound mad.
Well, that's funny. I am mad.
You can't be mad.
Why?
Look at that lollipop.
What about it?
That's really not a lollipop. That's a camera.
Really?
Sure, you're on television.
No! A camera in a lollipop?
What's the matter? You never hear of candid camera?
Say, then you must be...
Right. Alan Fink. Go on, say something to our audience.
Well, what shall I say?
Just tell us a little about yourself. Like, what was it that you ate about 1 hour ago?
Say, folks, about an hour ago I ate a banana with H2O, NH3, C2H5, PDQ, U235, and a pinch of salt written on it.
That's it. Come on, honey bun.
Flushed with success, Boris ran to the nearest telephone and called Fearless Leader.
Hello, fearless leader. Grab pencil. I got formula. It's H2O, Ooh, I'll call you back. I'm practically liquidated. Who can remember all those numbers?
And so, once again, innocence triumphs over evil. And the secret formula is to remain forever safely hidden in the confines of a moose's stomach, never to be heard from again.
Oh, I wouldn't say that.
I wouldn't say that either. What is in can be taken out.
Is this really the end of Bullwinkle? Be with us next time for Mac the Knife or Operation Moose.
Peabody, Sherman, and way back here. Sherman is the one opening the package.
Gee, Mr. Peabody, just what I've always wanted. A skirt?
Those are kilts. I bought them for today's journey.
That must mean we're going to Scotland, right?
Right. We kilted ourselves, set the Wayback Machine for the year 1745, and we're on our way. Before you could say Brobricht nicht, we were standing outside a thatched cottage in the city of Aberdeen. We were about to enter when suddenly a detachment of British soldiers burst out of the night and broke down the cottage door.
Hands all, everyone! You got no right coming in here that way.
Hold on to your tongue now.
We know you're riding him. Hand him over. Hand who over? Him. Who's him? I mean him. Bonnie Prince Charlie. He's under arrest.
Well, you'll not find him here. This is Scottish soil, and you got no right to persecute the poor lad.
But the soldier paid no heed and ordered his men to search the cottage. After creating a shambles, they left.
Phew, that was a close one.
You mean Bonnie Prince Charlie was here all the time?
Aye, laddie. And unless we smuggle him down to the sea, I'm afraid he's doomed.
Mr. Peabody will see that he gets away, won't you, Mr. Peabody?
Sherman, I'd much rather shop for bagpipes than go...
It's a deal.
You sell bagpipes?
No, I mean about you escorting the Bonnie Prince to the sea.
There was no way out. The old Scotsman went to a closet in which Bonnie Prince Charlie was undoubtedly hiding.
This should be easy, Mr. Peabody. All we have to do is disguise him.
What as, a tree? For Bonnie Prince Charlie stood 9 feet tall.
Jeepers, he's big.
So is our task.
I don't know how you'll do it, but smuggle him out of Aberdeen and head for the ocean. There'll be a boat there waiting to take him to France.
We left the cottage and with our charge in tow made a beeline for the road leading out of Aberdeen.
Oh, my gosh, look, Mr. Peabody. There's a British sentry guarding the road.
How does one get a 9-foot-tall prince past a sentry? I gave the problem 1 second of thought, and moments later, wearing a sweater with the word coach on it, I approached the sentry.
Halt! Who goes there?
I go there. Coach Peabody of the Aberdeen basketball team. Ah, here comes my team now. The sentry was practically mesmerized. Out of the fog, dribbling their way, came Sherman and Charlie. And needless to say, the plan worked.
We're out of Aberdeen, Mr. Peabody. Now what?
Now we... Charlie? Charlie, are you up there, Charlie?
Golly, Mr. Peabody, where is he?
The fog cleared momentarily, and we got the answer. Charlie had dribbled his way back into Aberdeen. Let me see, Sherman, what would a 9-foot prince do with a basketball? Of course, he'd look for a basket. Wasting no time, we ran to Aberdeen Square Garden, bought 2 tickets to the game, and dashed inside. There on the court, blissfully dribbling his freedom away, was Charlie.
This place is packed with English soldiers.
But due to the fact that all basketball players are tall, Charlie went undiscovered. That is, until he made the game-winning basket, and that's when he put on a sweatshirt, one with his name emblazoned on the back, of course.
Oh, that's him. Grab him there. It's the prince it is.
Things looked black, and I made them blacker. The resultant confusion enabled us to sneak away. A short time later...
Well, we reached the coast, Mr. Peabody. Our job is over.
Not quite. We're supposed to turn the prince here over to a waiting boat.
I don't see any boats.
I don't either. All I see are British soldiers.
And they're heading this way.
I knew we had to hide Charlie and hide him fast.
But he's too tall to hide.
Then we'll cut him down to size. Do you dig?
You bet I dig, Big Daddy. Like I'm hip.
No. I mean dig as in excavation.
Oh.
Sherman promptly fell to his knees and began scooping sand. You'd better let me do that, Sherman. After all, I've had more experience. I dug in and dug out. In no time at all, I had a 6-foot hole into which I put Bonnie Prince Charlie.
Gee, now he looks 3 feet tall.
The soldiers quickly converged upon us.
Oi! You blokes seen anything of a 9-foot-tall prince?
Sorry, sir, but we haven't.
We seemed to have fooled them until one sharp-eyed grenadier spotted a ring on Bonnie Prince Charlie's finger.
Them initials BPC, what do they stand for?
Buy Peabody's chestnuts. My name is Peabody, and I sell chestnuts. The trooper was satisfied and left. A half hour later, a ship appeared and ran a plank to the shore.
Goodbye, Mr. Prince, Your Majesty.
Bonnie Prince Charlie went aboard. As a token of his appreciation, Sherman and I received one of his horses.
He sure is beautiful.
That he is, and I'm surprised to say he doesn't even hurt.
You expected him to hurt you?
Well, Charlie horses usually do.
7 out of 10 doctors agree that stomach trouble is both universal and profitable. But
Bullwinkle, what are those little A's and B's?
The A stands for apple.
And the B?
Stands for banana. I ate one on St. Swithin's Day.
When?
St. Swithin's Day, 1943.
Wow.
yes, Bullwinkle has the rather unique ability to remember everything he eats. The trouble is that Bullwinkle ate a banana on which Boris Badenov had written a secret formula.
I will get formula back even if it kills Moose.
Oh, I am so happy you see things my way, darling.
Let's go.
Boris, wait. On the corner.
Wait on the corner for what?
He's a policeman. How do we get past him?
Phooey. Who's scared of policemen?
And folding his switchblade knife and putting it in his hat, the smug Boris walked right up to the policeman and said,
Officer, would you hold my hand across the street?
Certainly, little fella. Say, that's quite a mustache you got there.
My mommy drew it for me, didn't you, Mommy?
That's right, darling.
Well, give me your hand, little lad.
Take my hand, I'm a stranger in Steubenville.
and the unsuspecting policeman led Boris and Natasha right across the street.
There you are, me bucko.
And the kindly policeman patted Boris on the head. Unfortunately for the villain, his switchblade knife had a hair trigger and...
Sainted Aunt Agnes McGee, what's that?
It's a fingernail file.
A 12-inch nail file?
I got 12-inch fingernails.
Come along with me, you're under arrest.
As a spy?
No.
As a crook?
No.
As a killer?
No.
What then?
As a juvenile delinquent.
And so Boris Badenov, scourge of civilization, was taken to juvenile hall, given a hot bath, dressed in sleepers, and tucked in for the night. Next day he appeared in court, was lectured by the judge, and his switchblade taken away. Then he was released in Natasha's custody.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Oh, Natasha, the disgrace. Me, world's greatest villain, a juvenile delinquent. What will fearless leader say?
Well, cheer up, sonny, you.
Don't call me Sonny.
Boris Badenov, calling Boris Badenov.
There he is now. Fearless leader. Hello, fearless leader, old body boy.
You got secret formula yet, Badenov?
Not yet, but any minute now. You know me.
That's why I keep checking up. Well, your time is running out. Goodbye, Sonny.
Oh, boy.
Well, of course, now Boris knew he had to get Bullwinkle off to some deserted spot where the police wouldn't see him.
Okay, here is what we do. Boga, roga, boga, doga, boga, roga, boga, boga.
I can't understand a word you say, Boris. Speak up!
Oof. I said boga, roga, boga, doga, boga, roga, boga, doga.
That's what I thought you said.
You think I'm gonna let every Tom, Dick, and Gordon in on the plot?
Apparently not, for just a short time later, a familiar-looking figure pedaled a bicycle up to our heroes and said,
Telegram for Moose, telegram for Bullwinkle.
Here, boys.
Sign here.
Okay.
You're supposed to sign name, that's an X.
It's my middle initial.
Oh.
And here's a nickel for your trouble.
Nickel? Couldn't you make it a dime? I got 2 wives and baby goldfish to support.
Make it 7 cents.
Okay, I give up 1 wife. Cheapskates.
What does the telegram say, Bullwinkle?
Oh, boy, get a load of this. Congratulations, you have been chosen to spend a free weekend at Lake Kitchy Itchy Lodge. Signed, the management. Isn't that nice?
well, no. For if Bullwinkle had only known anybody who spent a weekend at Lake Kitchy Itchy Lodge stayed there permanently. It was 17 hours later that they arrived at what they thoroughly believed was to be a carefree weekend.
No, just a free weekend.
Are you sure this is Lake Kitchy Itchy, Bullwinkle?
Not really, no.
There's no lake. There's nothing here but that big old run-down house. We better go back.
But at that moment,
For he's a jolly good moose, for he's a jolly good moose, for he's a jolly good moose, which nobody can deny. Welcome to Kitchy Itchy Lodge.
Gee, who are you?
Who else? I am Egbert Kitchy Itchy himself.
Kind of a funny name, isn't it, Rock?
Kitchy Itchy?
No, Egbert.
If this is really a lodge, where are all the other guests?
There are no other guests. It's the middle of the slow season, isn't it, Honey Bun?
Yes, Egbert, darling.
When is your slow season?
From 1926 to 1982. But look at it this way. I can spend all my time just taking care of you.
Thoughty, mighty thoughty.
We better be careful, Bullwinkle. I'm afraid he's after you for some reason.
Don't be such a worrywart, Rock.
Just the same, I'm not going to let you out of my sight.
You hear that, Boris? Squirrel is not going to let Moose out of sight.
We'll see about that.
and he did too, for after Bullwinkle had freshened up,
Well, Moose, you look fresh as violet. How would you like to step out on porch to see the view?
Why, I think that would be lovely.
Bullwinkle would have stepped out onto the porch, but for one thing, there was no porch. Plunging down 2 stories, the endangered moose landed in a carefully prepared tub of cement waiting at the bottom.
Now what, darling?
We fan him until he's dry.
And that being a fast-drying cement developed by some gentleman in Chicago in 1928, it wasn't long before,
Ah, there's a rock. Now to crack him open. Stand back, honey bun.
with a well-placed blow from a hammer, the cement split down the middle and fell into 2 perfect halves.
Big deal. So now what you got, Boris?
A perfect moose mold. That's what.
And putting the cement mold together, Boris poured in a lifelike when dry plastic. When he had finished,
Boris, you have made a dummy that looks just like other dummy. Moose.
Right, and that is how we fooled Squirrel.
Yoo-hoo, Bullwinkle, where are you?
Here comes Squirrel now. Quick, we take Moose to basement.
Bullwinkle, I thought I told you to wait for me. Bullwinkle? Bullwinkle, why don't you answer me?
Now, Moose, I got you where I want you. What do you say to that? Why don't you answer me?
Why didn't you say something, Bullwinkle?
Why does he just stand there like a dummy?
Dummy? Darling, you don't suppose.
Oh, boy. Please, Moose, don't shut up your mouth.
Could it be that they got the dummies mixed up? We'll find out in our next episode entitled Two Mooses Loose, or Which One Has the Phony?
And now, here's that man with a head just crammed full of knowledge, Mr. Know-It-All.
I was wondering why they always call me Fathead. Hello there, friends. Today our subject is from my bestseller, How to Win Friends and Be Influential with People. I quote, pick out something about a person that you admire, tell them about it, and they will surely be your friend. Pardon me kindly, sir, but I couldn't help admiring your hair. You certainly are fortunate to have such fine, sturdy, good-looking, healthy, well-groomed hair. Mind if I take it home and admire it under a better light? Learn the interests and hobbies of those you would like to have as your friends. That's why I have thoroughly studied all the subjects that interest this man that's coming now. Hello there again, kindly, sir. You may be interested to know that I am an expert on bowling, baseball, and croquet. Those are his favorites. From my best-selling page 35, I quote, sometimes those you seek may seem standoffish. It's just that they are shy. Obviously the case here. It simply means you must bring them out by doing little favors for them. Let me carry your package, kindly, sir. Oh, I insist. Now you'll see the beginning of a real friendship.
Gee, Mr. Know-It-All, can't you win any friends with that book of yours?
Oh, sure, Rock. One man promised to be my friend for the rest of my life because of this book.
Who is that?
The publisher. I promised never to write another one.
All set for today's lesson, Junior?
Yeah, Pop.
And here it comes, right over the old plate. A monarch cannot hope to please everyone. Got it?
Oh, yeah, Pop.
And that brings us to our story, which is, how shall I put it?
A gasser?
The cat's meow. And it's all about, trouble here. You brought the wrong scroll, Junior. This one is in Sanskrit. Can't read Sanskrit, boy.
It's upside down, Pop.
It is, of course. Good eye, son. Yeah. Now, today we hear all about the lion and the mouse. The lion, you know, is the king of the beasts, monarch of all he surveys. Or at any rate he was until one day...
Hey! Who did that?
I did.
Oh. Hey! Did you do that again?
Yeah, and I'm gonna keep right on doing it.
What for?
Because as a king of the beasts, you're a flop.
Oh.
Look at you. You're a mess. Look at that. Your hair's coming out by the handsful. And your teeth will be doing the same thing any day. Let me hear you roar. Just as I thought, only 30 feet. You win this shot. You're a disgrace.
What should I do?
What else? Abdicate.
Abdicate? What's that mean?
Roughly translated, it means get another job.
But the only thing I know is kinging.
Look, Simba, let's face it. Everybody knows that a king is supposed to be brave.
Hey, I got you there. Because when it comes to fear, I don't know the meaning of the word.
Is that so?
That is so.
We'll see about that. You see the big gorilla over there? See the gorilla? You go over and, kick him.
All right, you just watch this. Psst. Hey, listen, buddy. I'm going to play a joke on a friend. Here's the plan. I'm going to kick you just a little, see? But don't you get mad, because I'm only kidding. See? Funny? Oh! Oh, please! Oh, please! I told you it was just a joke. It's a joke. Don't you get it?
Eh? He didn't hear you, fearless leader.
All right. Just give me one more chance. That's all. Just one.
Okay, but remember, you asked for it. Kings are supposed to be kind.
Stop right there. You have found the real me. I'm as kind as they come. Ooh, look. A tiny baby eagle has fallen from its nest.
Well, there's your chance to be kind. Take the baby eagle and return it to its nest.
Where is the nest?
Up there.
Up there? Wouldn't it be kinder to let him grow up here and fly back?
I thought you was that kind.
Determined to prove that he was not that kind, the lion picked up the baby eagle and started off to climb the mountain. The climb was a little difficult for him, but he finally reached the nest at the tip-top of the mountain.
There you go, little feller. I bet your mommy sure will be grateful to me. How's this?
Hey, that's one of the kindest acts I've ever seen. Oh, you sure surprised me.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised myself. Ooh!
Well, I guess that does it. Are you ready to admit that you're not fit to be a king?
Look here, Mouse. I may not be wise and all that other stuff, but I got one quality you have not touched upon. I am generous.
Big-hearted, huh?
I got a heart as big as all outdoors. Bigger.
Okay, here's your chance to prove it. Look.
Let's go home, Freddy. 2 months we've been out here, we still haven't been able to trap one lion.
I hate to go home empty-handed, Barney, but I guess you're right.
Well, are you really generous?
To a fault. To a fault. Now, is this generous or is this generous?
Okay, you're generous. But of course you realize that now that you're leaving, you can no longer be king of the jungle.
I know. And boy, it's the smartest thing I ever done.
So we'll need another king right away.
Any suggestions?
Just one, Leo, baby.
Yes, sirree, Bob. In 2 minutes, the animals had a new king, and in 3 minutes, he was in trouble, too.
You lazy lout, you quit the sloping around, you get back to work right away, you hear me?
And so, from that time on, it was bim, bang, boom for the poor mouse of a king. He never had another peaceful day. Pretty meaningful, huh?
Oh, yeah, Pop. The moral of the story is...
Yeah, go ahead, boy.
If you're gonna be king, you gotta expect to get crowned.
Gotta be expected. You're a good boy, Junior.
Our story thus far is simplicity itself.
What else?
Bullwinkle swallowed a secret formula for a silent explosive, and Boris is trying to get it back. Luring Rocky and Bullwinkle to a deserted house, the villain was able to obtain a cement mold of the gullible moose and thus make a lifelike dummy which looked exactly like Bullwinkle.
Bullwinkle, will you stop standing there like a dummy and speak to me?
What would you like me to say, Rock?
You pulled another boo-boo, Boris.
I noticed that, but Boris Bedenoff never gives up. Back to the basement.
I still think Mr. Kitchy Itchy is up to no good. I'm going to snoop around and see what I can find out.
Okay, and I'll step out on the porch for another look at the view.
Meanwhile, in the basement...
Boris, what you doing with dummy moose?
There now, isn't she pretty?
Yeah, pretty ugly.
Not only that, but I fixed it up so that she walks and talks. Watch this.
Hello, handsome. This is a recording. Hello, handsome. This is a recording.
Pure genius, darling.
Now comes best part. I got bomb inside. When Moose makes date with Dummy...
Then it's booby trap.
Right, and it's about to trap a booby.
So Mr. Kitchy Itchy is after Bullwinkle. I got to get upstairs but fast.
But Rocky wasn't fast enough.
Come, Natasha. All we got to do now is find Moose.
That was easy because Bullwinkle was just getting up off the ground outside.
The view is lovely, but it goes by so fast.
Oh, Moose! Somebody here I like you to meet.
Who's that, Mr. Kitchy Itchy?
Bullwinkle, meet Jane Moosefield.
Jane Moosefield? You mean the Jane Moosefield?
Who else? I will push button, then leave you two to get acquainted. Run, Natasha. Bomb goes off any minute.
My goodness, the Jane Moosefield. I don't know what to say.
Hello, handsome. This is a recording.
Friendly little thing. Leave us go to the kitchen. I shall fix us a bite to eat.
My arm, madame?
Meanwhile, Rocky had regained his senses and was rushing to find Bullwinkle.
Golly, I hope I'm not too late.
Would you like me to crumble up some crackers in your soup, Miss Moosefield?
Hello, handsome. This is a recording.
Hello yourself. How about the crackers?
Bullwinkle, that's only a dummy.
Who cares if she's smart? Get a load of that figure.
You don't understand. I gotta get you away from here.
And with that, the plucky squirrel pulled Bullwinkle out of the old house, and just in the nick of time. For it was then that Jane Moosefield, ticking loudly, crossed the room to the closet where Boris and Natasha were hiding.
Bomb should have gone off long time ago. I wonder what... Somebody's at door. Yes?
Hello, handsome. This is a recording.
Well, hello! Look, honey bun, it's Jane Moose.
Good heavens! What was all that about?
I don't know unless it had something to do with you remembering everything you ever ate.
Oh, stuffy nonsense.
By the way, what did you eat last?
KXQTRLP.
Bullwinkle, that doesn't mean anything.
Sure it does. It means I ate alphabet soup.
But unbeknownst to our heroes, a faraway figure is watching them on a super snooperscope.
Observe, Dimitri, you know what this is?
Is plan of New Pennsylvania skyscraper?
Idiot! This is a silhouette of a moose. And here inside the moose is a banana. And you know what is inside the banana?
Another moose?
No, you idiot! Inside banana is secret formula.
Of course.
And we've got to steal it.
Why?
Because they won't give it to us.
Very logical. How are we going to steal it?
I shall use deception, fraud, double-crossing, and trickery.
Of course.
It's the Pennsylvanian way.
Meanwhile, our heroes were just leaving the ruins of Lake Kitchy Itchy Lodge.
Gee, the whole place just blew up in the air.
Bullwinkle, I think that explosion was meant for you.
Oh, they shouldn't have done it.
No.
A simple fanfare would have been plenty.
But...
maybe with a few white doves let loose.
No, I mean somebody's trying to get rid of you.
Well, they've done a good job.
What do you mean?
I'm getting out of here.
And in just a little while, our heroes were aboard a river steamer and heading for home, all unaware that inside Bullwinkle is a banana containing the formula for a silent explosive. However, as the boat rocked slowly back and forth...
Bullwinkle, what's happening? You're turning kind of green.
It must be spring. NH3CO2 35 to pinch of salt.
What?
I got the hiccups. I guess it must be the banana I ate about 4 episodes back. NH3CO2 U235 to pinch of salt.
Bullwinkle, you can remember everything you ever ate.
True.
So you must have eaten a secret formula.
If it's such a secret, how come I keep blabbing it all over?
That's what I mean. You gotta get rid of those hiccups till we can get to somebody in authority.
Is that authority Wisconsin?
Oh, if our friends had only known they were at that moment being spied on by that arch-villain, that crumb of crumbs, that fiend of fiends...
Say the name.
Boris Spadanov.
Ta-da!
Boris, darling, could you hear formula when Moose hiccuped?
No, he's too far away. Come, we sneak a little closer.
And just at that moment...
And a pinch of salt. Thanks, Rock.
You're gonna give away the formula for sure unless we find a way to stop your hiccups.
Yeah.
You know, what we need is a good hiccups doctor.
Boris, you heard?
I heard.
Darling, that's your cue. You're supposed to show up disguised as hiccup doctor.
Natasha, I can't do it.
Boris, why not?
This time they're sure to recognize me.
They never have.
79 disguises I used on those two. Not one did they ever see through.
So?
The law of averages is turning against me.
It wouldn't dare. Boris, you're forgetting Article 6 of the Villain's Handbook.
Article 6?
Yes, look here.
There is nobody so stupid as the hero of a TV cartoon show. Well, maybe you're right. Come on.
As I was saying, what we need is a good hiccup doctor.
Allow me to introducing myself.
Who are you?
I'm the ship's medical officer.
Ship's doc?
Of course they do.
That voice! Where have I heard that voice?
See, darling?
I see it, but I don't believe it. No, sir, let's hear that nasty hiccup of yours.
And Boris held up a stethoscope which was secretly hooked up to a tape recorder.
Come, hick right in there.
From here, Doctor?
Now, wait a minute. That stethoscope is hooked up to a tape recorder.
Who says?
The narrator says.
And he never lies, right?
Right. Well, of course there's a tape recorder. I got to consult your case with a lady doctor.
A lady doctor?
Yes, darling.
Who is she?
This is Dr. Biotic.
Not antibiotic.
You guess.
Oh, I keep up with the Kildares, you know, and NH3CO2 U235 and a pinch of salt.
Oh, Bullwinkle, you did it.
Come on, Doctor. We got another appointment.
What about my hiccups?
You need a good scare is all.
So, boo, darling.
We got to answer emergency call.
Bullwinkle, something's mighty funny about those two.
That's odd. I don't hear anybody laughing.
No, but in a small rowboat pulling away from the river steamer, there were a couple of muffled chuckles.
Oh, boy, wait till fearless leader hears this tape, Natasha. It'll make even his ugly puss light up.
Oh, he is ugly, isn't he, Boris?
Listen, he's got as bad a case of uglies as you can get. Why, he got aggravated uglies.
He's got ugly he hasn't even used yet.
And stupid. Oh, boy.
Bad enough, is that you?
Boris is fearless leader.
On my two-way wrist TV. Fearless leader, we were just talking about you.
Well, don't. I'm top secret.
Where are you, Chiefy?
Right over your head. Look up, stupid.
You heard him, Natasha. Look up.
And sure enough, the sinister black superjet was zooming right overhead.
Meet me at the crossroads in half an hour, bad enough.
You bet, dear old superior, sir. Signing off.
Half an hour? We'll have to row pretty fast, Boris.
You certainly will. And the 1 and a 2 and a big fat shoe and a 3 and a 4.
And as the helpless Natasha bent to the oars back on board the riverboat, our friends were still baffled and confused.
No,
That's Rocky and Bullwinkle, I know.
Think he'd remember after all this time.
But just then...
You're Rocky and Bullwinkle?
No, baffled and confused.
Yeah, that's us.
Come along with us. You're under arrest.
Woofer!
Protective custody.
Official Secrets Act.
They do?
Walk this way.
I can't.
Why not?
I'm knock-kneed.
Are you trying to be funny?
Aren't you?
No.
You sure you're on the right program?
Understand you can remember everything you ever ate.
Oh, that again. Sure I can.
Remember eating a banana a little while back?
Do I? It had something written on the inside. It said...
Grab him, Ben.
And before Bullwinkle could move a muscle, he was bound and gagged.
Hey, what's a big idea?
Army intelligence. That mean anything to you?
Yeah, sounds like a contradiction in terms.
Grab him, Joe.
And in a trice, Rocky was also bound and gagged. Well, it looks like a pretty quiet program from here on in. And just because Bullwinkle was going to give the formula for Hush-a-Boom, which is...
Grab him, Ben.
And in a trice...
And meanwhile, Boris Badenoff is just about to play the tape recorder of the formula for his fearless leader.
Tune in next time for the villain's victory dance, or the jig is up.
Ooh, I love these happy endings.
Greetings, you culture bugs. Today's poem is called The Daffodils. I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high o'er vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils, continuous as the stars that hide.
Can't you read the sign, Bodie?
Well, certainly. What sign?
The one behind those daffodils.
This one that says, "Do not pick flowers"?
That's the one.
Well, there I was, Your Honor, wandering lonely as a cloud that floats...
30 daffodils, eh? That will be $30 and 30 days.
Now oft, when on my couch I lie, in vacant or in pensive mood, they flash upon my bright blue eye, as I sit here in solitude. And then my heart with anger fills. $1 apiece for daffodils?
Region of Canada at the close of the 19th century, arch villain Snidely Whiplash stood before a mirror, practicing his leers.
Hee-ho, ho-ha, ha-ha-ha. Canada's not big enough for the two of us, Bruno. The Royal Canadian Mounties and me. One of us has to go.
But Snidely, you're talking about the Royal Canadian Mounties. Gee.
Quiet. I have a plan to get rid of them.
All of them?
Every last red-coated always get their man, one of them.
Gee.
Who in the Mounties is the most loyal, trustworthy, brave, fearless, and respected member of the force?
Dudley Do-Right?
No, Dudley Do-Right's horse. That horse is an inspiration to the entire mounted police. If we kidnap Do-Right's horse, the morale of the Mounties will crumble, and they will wander off aimlessly into the woods.
But how are we going to do that, Whiplash? You know, Dudley Do-Right won't let that horse out of his sight. Besides, That's horse stealing.
A little late in the game to start thinking about that, Bruno. Come, I've got a plan.
How come I always figure in the tail end of your plans?
Button up your horse suit.
It's your fault, Do-Right.
Well, I can't help it if I've got a popular horse, Inspector.
Too blamed popular, Do-Right. Look. It's unhealthy. That's what it is. Unhealthy.
Well, he simply can't help it if he's well-liked.
You don't understand, Do-Right. He's the only thing that keeps up their morale. I'm afraid if anything happened to him, they would all just wander away from camp aimlessly.
Perhaps it's because he's the only horse in the mounted police, Inspector. Maybe if you got some more horses.
At ease, Do-Right. Consider the matter closed.
There he is now, Bruno.
I'll take your word for it.
What's the matter with you, horse? Haven't you ever seen a pretty face before?
Where's your horse, Dudley?
He met up with a pretty face, Inspector.
That was no pretty face, Do-Right. That was Snidely dressed up in a horse suit.
You mean my horse ran off with a snidely dressed horse suit?
You want to let the cat out of the bag?
You mean horse, Inspector?
Dudley, Do-Right, we've got to find that horse before the rest of the camp finds out he's missing.
But it wasn't long before a few of the Mounties, their morales crumbling, started wandering aimlessly out of camp into the forest, including our hero.
We've got to do something, Dudley.
About what, Inspector?
It worked out fine, eh, Snidely? We got Dudley's horse, just like you said.
Yes, everything worked out fine, except I can't get out of this horse suit.
Well, you got into it.
I know I got into it, but now the zipper is stuck. Oh, well, I'd better run over and see how the morale is at the fort.
A centaur! A centaur! Inspector, I just caught a centaur!
That is no centaur, Do-Right. That is Snidely dressed in half a horse suit. All right, half a Snidely. Tell us what you've done with Dudley Do-Right's horse.
Never, Inspector. I shall never tell you where I've hidden him. And the morale of the Mounties will crumble.
Did you see that, Dudley? That gives me an idea.
So, in order to keep up the morale of his troops, the inspector made Snidely Whiplash Dudley Do-Right's horse, and the troops did not notice the difference. However, Snidely Whiplash did.
Giddy up there, Snidely, or I'll give you a whiplash.
Wait a minute, you've almost got me believing I'm a horse. I'll take you to your horse.
And so, Inspector, here I am, and here's my horse.
But where is Snidely Whiplash?
Oh, he escaped.
Escaped from a mountain? That's shameful, Do-Right. Downright shameful.
I know, Inspector. He was the best horse I ever had.
Well, in our last episode, you remember some mysterious strangers tied and gagged idiot moose and sneaky little squirrel.
They also tied and gagged your friendly neighborhood narrator.
Leaving only us bad guys, eh, fearless leader?
You say you got hush-a-boom formula from Moose?
You bet, he's on this tape recorder.
Let's hear it.
Okay. I got to consult your case with the lady doctor.
Hello, darling.
That's you, Natasha. Boys, meet Dr. Biotic.
No, antibiotic.
You guess.
Bad enough if you think I'm here to listen to lousy puns, you...
Wait, here comes good part.
Oh, I keep up with the Killbears, you know, and NH3CO2U235 and the pinch of salt.
Oh, Bullwinkle, you did it.
There it is, fearless leader.
Marvelous! Bad enough I didn't know you had it in you.
You think you're dealing with kids or something?
Just for that, we are going to reduce your uncle's prison term to life.
You're too good, fearless leader.
And what's more, you could call me FL.
Wowee!
Now play that part back. I'll take notes this time.
Okay, FL.
Wait a minute, there's something else.
It's nothing, FL, just
Brilliant.
Wait till fearless leader hears this tape, Natasha.
Boris, you didn't turn off machine.
Oh, boy. This tape will make even his ugly puss light up.
What was that?
I'll turn it back now.
No.
He is ugly, isn't he, Boris?
He's got as bad a case uglies as you can get. He's got aggravated uglies. Pretty funny how I fell.
He's got ugly he hasn't even used yet.
Well, so much for the jokes.
Jokes!
Certainly, we were just kidding, pal.
Fearless leader to you bad enough?
Of course, fearless leader, I wouldn't presume.
This is the end for you bad enough.
Oh, boy.
And as for that recorder, take that. And that. There. How do you like that?
I guess it didn't like it.
Now what, Boris?
What else? We run like rabbits.
Good idea.
On second thought, we take secret formula with us.
You mean steal it?
Why not?
Funny, I can't think of a reason.
And the two villains dashed off with the precious tape recording.
Meanwhile, back on the boat.
The chief do yet?
2 minutes late.
Everything set?
Check. Got the moose tied and gagged.
Right.
Got the squirrel tied and gagged.
Right.
Funny thing.
What?
Chief isn't usually late.
You're right, that's funny.
Funny, all right.
Ha, ha.
You know, usually the narrator says, and suddenly a familiar figure entered the room and like that. Then the chief shows up.
I know.
Joe, only one thing.
What?
We tied and gagged the narrator, too. Better take the tape off his mouth.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we stop the plot.
Ben. Might be a good idea.
Joe?
Yeah.
You're a scream. Ha, ha. Rip the tape off his mouth.
Right. One thing we forgot.
Yeah?
He has a mustache.
No. Had a mustache.
And just then, a familiar figure entered the room.
Hello, Chief.
Well, I'd say you got him. Good work, fellows. Good heavens, it's Captain Peachfuzz. My goodness, what happened to your lip? What's the matter, Bullwinkle? Cat got your tongue?
Do we let him go now, Chief?
Well, naturally.
But as the gag was removed from Rocky's mouth, he said...
Hey, what's a big idea? Who are these fellas? And what's all this about a secret formula? How come
fellas.
we got tied and
Yes,
gagged?
Chief.
What happened
Put
to
it
these
back.
Why haven't you...
Try the other one. Ooh! Hello, Bullwinkle. I said, hello, Bullwinkle. Well, didn't you hear me?
Sure, but I don't want to get gagged up again.
Yes, I know, Rocky, but...
Chief?
Yes, Joe.
We've got to take the gag off the squirrel now.
Oh, the SPCA calling again?
No, we need the gag for another show.
What show?
The Unspeakables.
Oh, I didn't know they did comedy.
Sorry, squirrel.
Yeah.
Oh, that's all right. You were just doing your duty.
You know, Ben,
Yeah.
he's a true blue squirrel.
Salt of the earth.
Nature's nobleman.
Gets you right here.
Let's go.
Right.
Goodbye.
Gee, those fellas are sure deadpan.
I don't know. That goodbye was a little hammy.
And now on to recover the stolen formula.
Yeah, on! This way!
Now, wait a minute. We can't all go in different directions.
But how do we decide where to go?
Easy. Come in here a minute.
And the captain led our heroes into the next room where there stood an enormous electronic machine.
Hokey smoke.
It's the Peter Peachfuzz Polar Pass Predictor Patent Pending. It tells you what direction to go in.
Well, how does it work?
Well, I put a nickel in this end and...
Boy, that's pretty impressive.
Hush! It's about to give us the answer.
Answer? That's your nickel, Captain.
Yes, and it's heads. We go this way.
And strange as it seems, our friends headed in a beeline straight for an old abandoned warehouse, which just happened to be the secret hideout of Boris and Natasha.
Well, Dalek, you ready to put together the first batch of Hush-a-Boom?
You said it. Start tape machine.
The next voice you hear will be Moose hiccuping and reciting formula.
And as he recites, I mix ingredients. Go. Hold it, hold it!
Dalek, what happened?
I think I mixed a little too fast, Natasha. Slow it down.
Sorry, Dalek. Here goes. Don't tell me, darling.
A little too slow.
Third time's the charm, Boris.
I hope not.
NHC, CO2, U235, and a pinch of salt.
Aha!
This has been a recording.
Who cares? Natasha, I got it here. Hush-a-boom.
And just in time, darling. Look.
Yes, outside the warehouse, our three friends were closing in rapidly.
Well, what can be closed in can be closed out.
And Burris prepared to drop his lethal test tube right on top of our heroes. Don't miss our next episode, Boom at the Top, or Bullwinkle loses his head.
There was once a man who had 3 sons. The first son was very handsome and very talented, for he could play the fiddle with his feet.
The boy will make a fortune doing that someday.
The second son was very strong and very wise, and he could recite clever verse while holding huge weights above his head.
Out of the blue, a cockatoo flew. Boop, boop, beep, doo.
Beautiful. The boy will be famous someday.
But the third son was not a bit like his brothers, for he was a dullard and he was very lazy.
Come in out of the rain, son.
Yeah, what for?
For a while. The boy will never amount to a hill of beans.
Thank goodness. Who wants to be an old hill of beans?
Then one day the old man decided that it was time for his sons to go out into the world and make their fortunes. So he gave each of them some sour cheese, stale bread, and a cookie, and bid them farewell. The first son paused by a shady tree for his midday meal. He was about to eat his sour cheese, stale bread, and the cookie when a funny little man with a long beard and a crooked nose came up to him and said,
I am very hungry, young man. Would you share your meal with me?
No. I need this, though, to keep up my strength so that I can play the fiddle with my feet.
And so saying, he gobbled his food and set off down the road. A short time later, the second son paused by the tree to eat his midday meal when...
Pardon me, young man, but...
No! I need this food to keep up my strength so I can hold heavy weights over my head while reciting clever verse.
Then the third son came up to the shade of the old tree.
Ah, this resembles a fine spot to rest and have my midday meal. Gee, what a mess.
Pardon me, young man, but I am very hungry and...
You are? Good. Then you eat this.
You mean you'll let me have your sour cheese, stale bread, and cookie?
Sure. I may be dull, but I'm not crazy enough to eat that stuff, you know.
The funny little man was delighted, and he gave the young man an axe and instructed him to cut down the old tree. Then he scurried away. The dullard did as the funny little man had told him and chopped down the tree.
Timber! Ooh, that's smart.
And there, to the amazement of the young man, was a golden goose in the stump of the tree.
I'm rich!
He tied a string around the golden goose's neck and quickly headed for the village. He'd gone but a short distance when he met a wealthy merchant.
Well, I see you have a golden goose there.
Yeah, you'll have to admit, it's something you don't see every day.
I should like to have one of its golden feathers. Would you sell one to me for, say, a nickel?
A nickel? Certainly.
Then a strange thing happened, for when the merchant touched the goose's tail to pluck a feather, his hand stuck tight and he couldn't let go.
Don't some of the darndest things happen in fairy tales?
And the lad continued on his way with the hapless merchant stuck behind. They'd not gone far where they met a robber who waved his sword and shouted,
Oh, you've got a golden goose, which is something you don't see every day, and I'm gonna steal it.
Be my guest.
But when the robber grabbed the merchant to pull him away from the goose, his hand stuck tight, and the young man went on his way. When they reached the village, the sheriff saw the robber who was stuck to the merchant who was stuck to the goose, and he also stuck tight. And so it went until an hour later, no less than 206 people were stuck behind the boy and his goose. Now it so happened that the king had a beautiful daughter that never laughed. But when she looked out of the castle window and saw the long procession stuck behind the goose, she broke into gales of laughter. Upon seeing this, the king rushed to the young man with the goose and happily proclaimed,
You've made my daughter laugh, and therefore you shall marry her.
Well, now, that is a good idea, but it's going to be a little crowded, isn't it?
So the king called the castle wise man to solve the problem.
Do not worry, Your Highness. I can make them all let go with the 17 magic words. Now, everybody who doesn't want to spend the rest of his
life in the dungeon, raise his hand.
The problem was solved, and so they were married. Now, ordinarily, any young man who has a golden goose and is lucky enough to marry a princess would surely live happily ever after. But such was not the case in this case. Oh, no.
Because of that dratted goose, I'll be henpecked for the rest of my life, and that's for the birds.
So remember, dear friends, if you ever meet a funny little man with a long beard and a crooked nose, don't give him your sour cheese, stale bread, and a cookie, or your goose is cooked.
Well, in our last episode, Boris and Natasha had succeeded in manufacturing a batch of the silent explosive called Hush-a-Boom.
Natasha, this explosive may change the course of history.
Sort of a boom to mankind, ha!
Please, no puns. This is a solemn moment. Ooh, I can see it now. At last, safe crackers will really be able to crack safely. They won't even be arrested for disturbing the peace.
Lovely night, officer.
Oh, is this going to be a great come-and-get-it day, Natasha?
Yes, darling, and they're coming to get it right now.
Who?
Who else? Moose and Squirrel.
Well, here's our first chance to use Hush-a-Boom, Natasha.
And leaning out of a top story, the wily Boris drew a bead on our boys.
Boris, how much Hush-a-Boom is in test tube?
Enough to blow up all the nosy Parkovs and this whole building besides.
Basti.
Makes you feel all warm inside, doesn't it?
Yeah, but...
Bombs away!
But, Boris, if building blows up...
And it will.
And if we're in it...
We will too. We will too. Natasha, what am I doing?
You're finishing off this episode with a bang, darling. I'll meet you around the corner in half an hour.
Ooh, I got to catch that test tube.
And seizing a handy fielder's mitt, Boris dashed for the stair. And so as our heroes reached the door of the warehouse...
Stand back! Stand back!
Hokey Smoke, what's that?
Just a plug for another show.
What show?
Well, it's either Dr. Kildare or the Game of the Week.
Craziest looking ball player I ever saw.
You haven't been watching Kansas City lately.
Hey, nice catch!
How many outs is that? Allow me to introducing myself. J. Robert Uppendowner, world's greatest scientist at your service.
What kind of a scientist are you?
I'm a physicist. I'm a druggist. See my test tube? Come inside. I got lots of them.
Yeah, but what was that one doing up in the air?
That's how all my ideas is coming to me.
How?
Out of a clear blue sky.
I've heard of that, but I never really thought it happened.
What is your latest invention?
It's a new soft drink.
Soda pop?
Oh, bigger than soda pop.
What's it called?
Soda Pow.
Catchy name.
And because you witnessed my discovery, I'm going to give you the honor of drinking the first batch.
Little do our heroes know that test tube contains not soda pow, but Hush-a-Boom, the powerful silent explosive.
Quiet, blabbermouth.
Well, I whispered, didn't I?
So, here you are, you lucky fellow. Drink hearty.
But, Dr. Uppendowner, don't you want to see how I like it?
I already know. If you drink that, you'll never drink anything else. Farewell.
And Boris dashed off to join his partner a safe distance away.
I wonder.
Shall we join him, Captain?
Why not?
That voice! Where have I heard that voice?
Rocky, you've heard more voices than Joan of Arc.
Well, here's how.
And Bullwinkle raised the fatal test tube to his lips.
Are we far enough away now, Boris?
Should be, honey bun. Spotlight, please. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our little show. This is Buddy Badenoff, and I'd like to do a few impressions for you.
Boris, you are not the star of this show.
Natasha, besides you and me, who's left?
You know, you may be right. What channel are we on, darling?
Tune in and see.
But when Natasha tuned a small TV set to this very channel...
Are you all right, Bullwinkle?
Fit as a fiddle and twice as stringy.
Boris, what happened?
To find out, let's go back a little to when Bullwinkle raised that test tube to his lips.
Well, here's how, fellers.
Wait a second. You're not actually going to drink that, are you?
Why not?
Without a straw?
Hey, that's right. I do need a straw.
3 straws.
Yeah, all for one and one for all, and nobody gets enough.
Come on, there's some straws at my place.
I'll just leave this sody pal right here till we get back.
But unbeknownst to Bullwinkle, he had placed the test tube on top of a radio receiver, which was just about to broadcast a message from Fearless Leader.
Fearless leader calling Boris Badenoff. Do you hear me, Badenoff?
As the mad dictator's voice rose, the radio receiver began to vibrate, and so did the test tube rack.
Badenoff, you incompetent nincompoop. I'll give you just 3 seconds to answer. 1, 2.
And as the hushaboom hit the floor, the building exploded.
Boris, the whole building went up.
And whatever goes up must come down.
Are you trying to tell me something, darling?
Well, yes.
What is it?
Duck!
Oh, and look, Boris, somebody is throwing party streamers.
Party streamers? Natasha, that was the tape with the formula on it.
Well, we goofed again.
Let's face it, Natasha, as villains, we are a collective flop.
Oh, cheer up, Boris. Maybe someday we'll make the FBI's top 10.
FBI's top 10? We can't even make Kane's 100.
Pardon me, do I understand that you blew up this warehouse?
Boris, the fuzz is here. Here's our chance.
You bet we did, Sheriff.
And you're responsible for all this wreckage?
Of course.
Then I'm afraid you're under arrest.
At last we've made the big time.
You're arresting us as saboteurs?
No.
Spies?
No.
Master criminals, maybe?
Oh, no.
Mad bombers?
No.
Then what?
You are litter bugs. Come along.
Oh, boy.
And meanwhile, a short distance away...
Call for Captain Pitchforks! Call for Captain Pitchforks!
Here, boy.
Telegram, Captain.
Hey, aren't you the little feller that used to step out of thousands of store windows and counters all over the country?
Yes, but I had to stop.
How come?
Kept cutting myself on the broken glass.
Hey, listen to this. It's from one of our viewers. He says if we'll get rid of the mad doctor, the hushaboom formula will be safe.
Move along, you.
Can't play the Rabbi Grable Depp.
Well, there he goes. The formula is safe.
How do you know that's the guy, Bullwinkle?
He was wearing a white coat and scowling.
So that makes him...
a mad doctor.
Oh, Cisco!
Oh, Pancho!
Hey, wait a minute. This is the ending of another television program about cowboys.
It always worked okay for them.
Yeah, but we don't do that on this show. We always walk arm in arm into the sunset. Like this.
Yeah.
The narrator says...
Tune in next time for the further adventures of Rocky the Flying Squirrel and Bullwinkle Moose. Ho, 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 Cisco!
Wise guy.
Continue the fun. Build your very own collection of The Adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle. Yes, the spirit of Moose Mania is everywhere and has everyone running, riding, or rocketing to collect all 8. That's right, 8 video volumes.
I see you got yours.
Yes, incredibly, there are 8 volumes in all.
Oh, boy, have you forgotten the plot again?
In a word, you said it.
That's 3 words.
I'm a heavy tipper.
More of Rocky and Bullwinkle's hilarious gang of outrageous comic characters. More of that misguided Dudley Do-Right of the Mounties. More of that dastardly duo Boris and Natasha. And still more of those slightly askew, fractured fairy tales. Yes, for those who grew up watching them, for those who never outgrew them, and for those who are growing to love them, what more could you possibly ask for than Mona Moose? Birth of Bullwinkle, Vincent Van Moose, Blue Moose, Legrand Moose, Canadian Gothic, Whistler's Moose, and Norman Moosewell. The Adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle. Once you collect one, you'll just have to collect them all.